Now, what we were just talking about was an example of hexokinase. That's the first enzyme in the pathway that breaks down glucose down all the way into pyruvate, but ultimately down to carbon dioxide. Now, what's great about the study of different enzymes is ultimately they are going to pool together into some sort of metabolic pathway. So we're going to be able to produce energy or some sort of valuable material. And we have a series of enzymes in that process going from reactant A. Let me go ahead and get my cursor up here. Reactant A or metabolite A all the way down to metabolite F. We have 5 example enzymes here. Now, what's cool about the study of biochemistry, because keep in mind, I know that we just kind of dove into a discussion of enzymes. We're going to be doing that later on in even greater depth. But what's cool about biochemistry is you might have metabolite C here that serves to inhibit enzyme 1. You might also have reactant B that activates the activity of enzyme 2. So the study of biochemistry is that study that we were just talking about, coupling of those reactions, the conversion or the transduction of energy, but we're also talking about how do these different products, when in this reassembled pathway, how do these different products kind of relate to one another? How do they play with one another? So this is an example of a signal transduction cascade, or not a signal transduction cascade, I'm sorry. This is an example of a metabolic pathway. A signal transduction pathway is a pathway in which information is going to be passed on. So an extracellular, and we'll get into this for chapter or exam 4 material, but this is something where you have this external stimuli that causes that, triggers this, which causes this, which causes that, which activates this, which produces this metabolite that activates X, Y, and Z. So those are, whenever I think of biochemistry, I don't think so much about, the transduction of energy. I instead think about what's the pathway? What's my starting point? What's my end point? And a little bit like, what's my end goal? Where do I want to take this? Like, that's cool that glucose does this, but what are all those different players along the way that are going to ensure that this takes place? So if you've taken a biology class, like a molecular biology, or maybe even a functional biology class, which I know not all of y'all have. Many of y'all are chemistry majors, in which case you probably took physics as your other science course, or sorry, your other maybe as a part of your minor or something. So some of y'all haven't taken a biology class, and I respect that, and that's fine. But I will use terminology that if you have not taken a biology class in a while, you might be like, what the heck is this guy talking about? And so I wanted to bring this kind of terminology up. The central dogma of, I've always known it as the central dogma of molecular biology, but the central dogma of biochemistry is DNA is our genetic material, which is transcribed into RNA, which is translated into proteins. So what we've got here is basically a little flow chart there. Or what we've got is basically a little flow chart. We've got DNA. So here's our double helix. Here is our hexokinase gene. That hexokinase gene is transcribed into complementary RNA, or specifically messenger RNA. That messenger RNA goes to the ribosome and is translated. So transcription, these are important terms, transcription and translation, translated into a polypeptide chain. That polypeptide chain subsequently folds into an active hexokinase. So these are all things that are kind of important for y'all to appreciate with that. But I just wanted to use this terminology, the central dogma of biochemistry. If you know of it as the central dogma of molecular biology, we're in the same boat. But at any rate, that's what I wanted to talk to y'all about. That wraps up all of the Chapter 1 material over the course of these 7 videos and all of the attached slides. We're going to be moving on to a discussion of water, the hard-hitting field of water, and after that we'll be going on to a discussion of carbohydrates, and kind of that's our next avenue through the Exam 1 material. All right, well, thank you very much. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or get in contact with me through Zoom or something. All right, have a good one.